Hey, I'm Will.
And I'm Andrew.
And welcome to the Party Up Paragon Podcast.
Let's party.
So before we get into what exactly the Party Up Paragon Podcast is, let's give you some background on Andrew and myself. I started playing Paragon in March of 2016. I paid the $20 to get the access code, and so I started playing from there, and I died a lot because it was my first MOBA, so I was trash. Don't laugh because you're going to tell yours, and
trust me.
You suck too.
Yes.
And so yeah, like the skill gap was huge because I'd never played a MOBA before, so I had a lot to learn. But I'd played League like once or twice, so I kind of got the gist of the genre, like how long it took me to learn. I learned pretty quick, so yeah, pretty much the rest is history. I've been playing since last March, and yeah, I've been hooked. So what about you, Andrew?
Well, yeah, it's my first MOBA as well. Actually was introduced from the game by our buddy Cameron. We were playing some Rocket League one day, and he was like, "Hey man, like you gotta play Paragon. It's an amazing game." So I downloaded, bought it for $20 as well. This was April, so
yeah, you weren't too far behind.
Yeah,
me. You were right there.
It was April, and from there just I grew with the game, became pretty decent. First started out building crit on Gideon, and then here I am today.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Still
so
building
good
crit on Gideon.
Yeah,
Nope.
you try some pretty crazy builds, but I haven't seen crit on Gideon yet.
Yeah, I mean that's it. I mean it's just growing with the game, and it's been a great ride.
Now that you guys know a little bit about how we got into Paragon and kind of how much we put into Paragon, like this is kind of our vision for what we want Party Up Paragon, our podcast, to be. We want to deliver a fun and informative place to learn about Paragon, and we're going to go over like what's trending in the community and spotlight some trends and play styles and just kind of stuff that's popular within the meta.
Yes. Yeah, we just honestly just want to grow with the community. It is a fairly new game, still in open access or early access, and we just want to grow with it. It's open beta or whatever you want to call it.
It's still in beta.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that they're still in beta. They're still changing stuff, maps, visuals, buffs,
and
all of that stuff.
We will get into that too. What do we got in stock for today? What do we got in stock?
Okay, today's podcast, we're going to be going over some top tier characters in each role. A little bit of a building guide for Wraith. And for our first topic, however, we're going to talk about the state of Paragon in version V41. So, Andrew, what's it like playing in V41, man?
It's a lot different from 31.
Way different.
So crowd control is still a big issue. Stun times are still around 1.5 to 2 seconds. So that's something that you have to take into account when building heroes. Something like Teleblink, Stasis Gem, those sort of things are currently huge in this meta. But what changed from last month or two to this one is you're not seeing as many builds as far as like junglers or offlaners building crit. You're starting to see more of a more armor and tanky meta on your frontliners. Yeah. So which is very helpful when you main carries or casters. So
yeah, it used to be you would have like one tank, if that, and your jungler was just like, go kill as many people as possible and hopefully we win by 12 minutes.
Yes.
Now it's more utility. It's pretty helpful. I like it. It's, you got your Chimeras and Gruxes and Sevs being able to like really tank that front line in the second half.
Yeah. And so thanks to the, I wouldn't want to say like the top tier players, but they're bringing light into cards that normally weren't picked as much. It's like like Stasis Gem, which has been currently buffed too. Blood-soaked armor is huge on corruption characters, and things like that. Which and I'm also very excited to see what's coming up in the future because over 100 cards are being changed. But that's a different topic.
They're reworking the whole card system.
But yeah,
we'll get into that next week for sure. So, how do you like playing in the current meta? How do you like it?
I love it. For me, like I main carries, so I love that DPS class, man. If I can knock down as many people as I can, if I can get enough peel from my my supports and my tanks, I love it. This is my kind of meta. Instead of that that armor meta that we had on Legacy, where it took,
You remember when we were building, you how many times did you had to build armor on Murdoch to be a carry? You were throwing tempered plates and tuned barriers on your carry because armor was so OP.
See, I tried so hard not to do that. When you told me to build that, I completely ignored you. So, what about you? How do you like
most
this?
Things.
How do you like it?
It's not bad. I do miss a little bit of the raw damage that we were getting like late in Legacy, where like you were burning people in like 3 shots with the carries. I like that. I like the where a jungler or a caster just can't like walk up to Murdoch or Twin and be like, I'm just gonna ult you and you'll be done. It was like, no, like they're gonna carry. They're gonna trash you. You're gonna get 3-shotted.
The one thing that is very rough in this is, and they're still trying to improve on it, is the time to kill is very high. But how do you change something like that? I mean, you can't lower damage that much without armor being a big priority then. But if you can't nerf armor that much, so I mean, I guess they have something. They've been talking about the time to kill for a while now, so hopefully it can change soon.
Yeah, I mean the meta changes a lot, so I mean like, sometimes characters are good, sometimes characters are bad. You see a lot of changes with every meta.
Yes.
When you change characters and stuff, like obviously the cards changes. Like, what are some cards you've been seeing in this new meta kind of weren't previously there?
I mean,
kind of touched on them a little bit.
Yes. Stasis Gem. I mean, I honestly build Stasis Gem on my carries now. It's that effective.
Now that you can build power into it, it's incredible.
And same with Blink Shot too on your Fury.
Yeah,
I mean, it used to be mana regen. I mean, who wanted mana regen on your carry? So that's another card that's kind of a little bit too high risk reward for my liking. So I stick with the Stasis Gem because it is universal. But things like that. Hemorrhage I run on almost every carry, and sometimes like a good offlaner like Gray, which Hemorrhage is really good. Same with Tainted Magic is another really good one.
I wish Ash of the Witch hadn't got nerfed a little bit, because when I was running Greystone with the Ash of the Witch, oh man, you just do make way and you just keep clocking people and they'd be so slow. Your team could just trash people while you were making way. They couldn't get away from you. It was great.
There is a card that I'm actually looking up right now that I completely forgot what it was. Another really good one that I've seen on frontliners and fighters is Splinterbark Vest and Radiant Mantle and Mad Spore Sash. They're 2 really big cards on fighters and tanks nowadays, because you can build health and basic armor for the growth one. I mean, so those are 3 or 4 main cards that I've been seeing in this. What about you? Have you seen anything different?
Nothing like too crazy. You kind of hit on a lot of them. I will say a card that I miss at the tail end of Legacy, Charging Brute on Sparrow. Oh, man, I miss that so much.
Speaking,
I love that.
I actually forgot a card too. What I've been kind of seeing being tested out for different characters, especially Wraith, is Stinger Boost.
I've been seeing a lot of that.
So that's another card that recently got reworked.
That's the great thing about Paragon. Every version there's something new. So cards come out of nowhere and just like they become popular, and you're like, oh man, I gotta throw this on all my decks.
Yeah, I haven't seen Nanoplasm as much, but that's another one.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna change the game with the casters, but it's just they gotta really amp up that percentage if they really want to.
Well, either that
really want to get effect out of it.
Yeah, either that or just give more cards the same passive. Have a damage and attack speed one, but that's the first card that Spell Vamp is going to be on, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see more in the days to come. So,
all right, well, since we've talked about some of the changes and we've talked about the meta, let's talk about some of the top tier characters. So I'm going to give you my 5, and then you're going to give your 5, and then we'll see whose is better. It's mine, but it's fine. So for carry, I've got Sparrow. For my support, it was close. It's between Decker and FaZe, but just the way FaZe can control the carries now and kind of babysit them, I think I just gave the edge to FaZe in that, especially in like solo queue. But for mid, I got Gadget. I just like her ultimate. I like how she can control the mid lane against like a Morgesh, who's pretty popular. Off lane, Greystone. I mean, the split push is incredible.
Oh, yeah,
he's got 2 lives. You got to kill him twice. It's just, he's annoying. And like for somebody like me who mains off lane, I love Greystone because I can be really aggressive and they got to kill me twice. So hopefully by that time they got to focus on a tower instead of coming after me so I can run away. And I can show up late to team fights and still cause havoc. That's what I do. So, and then for jungle, I got Grux. He's just terrifying. If you come around a corner and you see Grux most of the time in that early to mid game, it's I got a bolt. He's gonna pull me, ult, the double pain. He's incredible, and blood soaked armor. He's got a small escape with that charge out. It's not great, but it'll get you out if it's really terrible. And then you just build him a little bit of sustain late and some tank. Like I think he's great. So what do you got? What's your 5?
For my top 5, my top for each role, man. You're going to throw some curveballs at me. I'm going to throw some curveballs at you. All right. So I'll be honest. My favorite carry, or I think my best carry, is probably Sparrow. But in this current meta, I think Twin Blast shines at least. So
he's beast.
So the reason I say Twin Blast is his early game is the best out of every carry. Sparrow is a very hyper carry, so you have to get her to 60 CP before she can do that much. So that's why my pick is Twin. He doesn't have as much DPS late game as Sparrow. If you can feed him early, I think he can outshine.
I do like that he can semi-snipe with his ult if people are getting away. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but if they have that sliver, and he can just shoot so far on that. So that is good for him as well.
For supports, I think it's between FaZe and Decker. But if you got to go with a team comp, though, you have to think, if I pick for my off lane, say if me and your team are fighting here, if I pick a Decker, you're not going to have any order, so I can pick Aurora for my off lane. So like
that's true.
So I mean, I have to go with Decker, but even though FaZe and Sparrow combo are just scary,
it's crazy.
It's scary.
Her ult plus hemorrhage plus Sparrow's ult. It's done. It's done. Group them together. It's done.
Yeah, and especially if you have a good team comp like a Decker Gideon combo, Decker Gadget combo. I think Decker just combos so much better with more
she does.
Heroes.
Totally agree.
So
totally agree.
Yeah, and then for the
I'm just thinking like solo queue is just a lot of It's like you can babysit that carry because you don't know how they play, and if they're getting funky, you just yank them back. You're just like, dude, chill. Like you're not gonna solo orbit 15 minutes.
Yeah, I'm thinking more of like a team comp based. See, that's where I'm coming. Right. And Decker, I think, outshines FaZe. So mid lane though, that's a hard one. Gadget. I do gotta say though, I give it to Belica because Belica. The thing about Belica,
I love Belisha.
Oh, Belisha! You can play her in any role besides jungle, and she can outshine any other person. I mean, she can be a good support, an off laner, a mid laner. So I gotta give it to Belica. Her neural disruptor just melts casters and supports. She just has a great kit, man. It's amazing. So Belica, that's my pick. Stick with it, all right, man?
Stick with it. So what do you got for offlane and jungle?
So that's tricky. Greystone, I think Greystone's probably top tier.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Wukong doesn't really offer too much to team fights, but he is the best split pusher. So you got to give that into account. But I still got to give it to Greystone. So, and then for jungles, top 2, it's between Sev and Grux.
I agree.
I mean, a Deadly Crunch can be... a Fed Crunch is horrible, but I don't think he offers enough in team fights. So I gotta give it to Grux, man. Gotta give it to Grux. So
yeah, Sev is close. The only reason I don't have Sev number 1 is because he needs those stacks
early game.
And early game he has to concentrate more on the jungling part than the ganking and like lane control. So I just think it's harder early game. But he is some type of tank, man. He does not die.
See, you got to think about the early game. Grux is the best early game, but he falls off so badly in late game. And then the very opposite for Sev. So. I mean, if you have a late game team like Sparrow and Greystone, even you can have a Grux jungle to keep pressure on map. So
basically, my 5 is better than your 5. That was basically the same.
Dude, 5v5 me, bro. 5v5 me.
If I could control all 5, I would totally do it. So, so somebody we didn't mention was Wraith, the newest character, and part of the reason I think that is because like he's kind of everywhere on the map. Like I've seen him in basically every position. You know, I think he's pretty good mid lane. I think support he can work because he has incredible utility. But like, where do you find yourself using him? Like, how much have you played Wraith and where have you been?
I've only played a couple rounds with him. I think he fits the best in mid lane, and the reason being is he can control river buffs. He can rewind their junglers for a possible gank. I've played with a support Wraith. And it wasn't as nice as you would think. And I don't know. It's just little things like that. He can be an offlaner, but I don't know.
He can snipe that buff and get that buff.
Yeah, but
the snipe for the buff is good.
It's hard to see because his wards don't show positionings of the buffs. Like if you throw it in mid, you can't see where the buff is, so it's kind of hard to shoot the full buff. But yeah, I think he's a great mid laner. You put tainted magic on him, you put thick blood, and you're good to go.
He is pretty good for rotating early in mid game too to help gank on those lanes and help out lanes. Because right when that carry thinks he's getting away, you just hit that rewind and he's back under the tower. The only thing I've seen with that is people aren't used to the rewind yet, so they keep chasing and then realize that he's getting rewound, and then they get away. So that's the only problem about that. It's all communication.
So yes.
Do you have a build for us? You got any tips on how to build my man Wraith?
You just put... All right, so I've seen a couple builds going around, and I've seen people actually build crit on him, and I think that's a horrible idea.
Really?
Yes. I've seen some crits.
I don't agree with that.
I've seen some crit on him. I mean, he scales at a 0.6, which isn't bad. But I still think you build him raw power with adamant edges. You put a teleblink on him for escape because he actually doesn't have it if you don't want to burn your ults. Things like tainted magic, thick blood, stinger boost, like we mentioned, are really good options for him. And then I would put a little ability pen on him, and you're probably hitting late game. Your basics are probably hitting 150, and your snipe is probably hitting 5 and change with that burn from tainted. So you're pretty solid. I mean, if you want to build Stinger Boost with a little speed, go ahead because he does scale pretty well. But raw damage, utilities. That's my recommendation.
That's it right there. Raw damage and utilities.
Hey man,
I like it. If you have any suggestions for the podcast, send your thoughts to partyupparagon@yahoo.com, or you can tweet us at partyupparagon on Twitter. If you have any questions for myself or Andrew, you can tweet me at sneakergeek_90 and at Andimus Games for Andrew. Catch us next week when we talk in depth about the newest hero, Zinx. For Andrew and myself, thanks for tuning in. This is Party Up Paragon Podcast, and remember,
always party up.